We're going to take a look at a amazing computer system that you've probably never heard anything about before. Its acronym is as follows: maintaining, analyzing, preparing, producing, editing reports. It is your complete business information system. It's been around for 45 years. In other words, it's on revision level 45.0, not 4.5, like many other softwares around that have only been in existence for a handful of years. This one's used by over 5,000 companies. There are some examples here as well as here. You can pause this and take a deeper look at these. It's pretty amazing that even something as expensive as the Internal Revenue System and the Federal Reserve System are using the MAPR system currently today. This is the best kept secret because it was invented in 1967 and has been used extensively, providing you with so many all-inclusive features. MAPR is accessed by a client to the main server. This is, by the way, the original cloud when you had a mainframe with many dumb terminals accessing it. This is essentially where everything is going back to in relationship to not having applications or your content stored on your local device. The old look was a command line operating environment where you would enter your commands here and your error message would show up here, and in the body of the screen you would have your application or report data. The new look is a graphical user interface environment that's a point and click environment. It's much easier to use for those that don't understand the system. However, this old look is much faster when you know what you're doing. So one can learn here and then use the old look to be more proficient. The database structure is an old idea. It's a simple idea, and it's a very effective method for tracking volumes of information. In fact, in the 60s, the MAPR system was designed to replace the old way and bring it into a new electronic intelligence filing cabinet system, whereby the cabinets and the drawers were set up and labeled and controlling the write permission and read permission. All cabinets had access to drawer A, where many times there was the manual or instructions or examples were kept for everybody to be able to access them. This is a pretty straightforward report structure. You pull open a drawer, which can contain up to 5,000 reports. You pull out a folder, which is your individual report or report ID, which is referenced as RID, RID 1A, RID 1B, 2C, etc. But you can also label them with a name, so it's much easier to come back and find at a later date. The report format is column form data. By the way, this existed before Excel, and most likely Lotus 1-2-3 was a ripoff when someone saw this and tried to create something that was a little more graphical oriented. But this type of report processing, or shall I say virtual report processing, is far more powerful, and we're going to take a look at what it can do. However, in 1967, when COBOL was around at the same time as this system where you can actually get directly into the data, COBOL was a read one record at a time type of a system. You couldn't actually get in and manipulate the data. So now in the new GUI front end, you can click on a line and it provides you with a dialog box for changing fields. And once you understand how everything works, it's much quicker to actually come in and be able to tab through the column formatted data and change any field that you want. Of course, there are editing restrictions, so that in this field, for example, you could only enter numeric and in this one only alpha. Other than that, it was pretty much free-form updating. It has an elaborate array of power tools, which only a few, 8 of 150 actually, are accessible through the command line prompting, and here we have the most commonly used to get a individual started, portrayed in a point-and-click environment. We're going to run through a couple examples after we establish the understanding that while Excel has a very pretty graphic environment, it has great limitations and cannot even compare to what Mapper can do. And here we're going to give you an example of why. It's simply much faster, easy to use. You work on a copy of data while others can change the actual data. This is a real-time system that it allows you to manipulate the reports over and over in a result until you get exactly what you want as your useful end product or productivity report. So everybody's virtual report processing that is being done in real time allows them to become the master of their data. Let's take a look at this system in action. So imagine you push the search button here, comes up with this input box, and you select the field that you want to work with. Continuing to the next screen, you're going to choose the target. Let's say we want to find a category called eyes. Additionally, we've set up that we want to find another category called gauze. And click OK. And here's the last check before we perform the function. Everything looks good, so we say go ahead and execute the search. And here we find a result. And you can also see the difference in color between black data and blue data, letting you know it's been extracted as a copy. And here we see eyes and gauze selections queried out of our database. The next thing we would be doing is sorting this so that we can do some computations on it, arranging it by the category field, clicking sort and saying we want to work with the category field and selecting it, saying we'll sort in ascending order. Sets up the parameters here. After checking and confirming, we go ahead and execute the sort, and now we have this result organized according to alphabetical ascending order. Further, when we go ahead and click the calc button, we're now going to perform a calculation. We're going to do a subtotal, summary only versus all of the details. There's a variety of things you can do here. Selecting that and then choosing which will be the key field to operate from, which is category 1. So when that changes, you can also do nesting, so you could have 1 and 2, but we're going to stick to a simple form here. And then you want to watch the results accumulate in the sale field, so you selected that one, and after highlighting, click subtotal. And then once we have our parameters set up, we go ahead and hit the total button here, and we get our result. The total of eyes is 392.63 cents. So we could also be rounding this to dollars and cents if we would have underneath here clicked this open and put it to dollars and cents. So there's many options that allow you to fine-tune the functionality of each of these powerful report tools. And so the next thing that we would want to do in the case of preparing a report for a meeting is hit the graph button up here, which pops open the dialog box, where again we're going to have category field highlighted as the label field and the value fields that have the number values that we want to be tracking as the sale field. And then we're going to do a bar chart, and clicking graph will produce the graphical result. And now we can print and go. This, by the way, would have taken less than 2 minutes to prepare and print once somebody understands the easy point-and-click functionality of these power tools. There's also a macro key, which means essentially setting up an executable script as a one-step push button. And basically, once you turn on this functionality, it tracks what you do so that when you're done, you actually name the run script, and the next time you want to use it, you simply type in the name, and it would execute it in less than a hundredth of a second. So you'd actually be slowed down by how fast your printer's printing or how fast you can get to your printer, and off to the meeting you go. The programming language allows complex applications to be built in a fraction of the time that it takes conventional programmers. These are tailored and customized applications specifically to each user's needs. No longer trying to fit your data into a turnkey software package that costs too much to really make your own. So in this case, you get it right the first time. This is also a very powerful prototyping system. You can decide what you want to do, work it out, and apply it, and turn it into an application in a fraction of the time that it takes you in other programming languages. So this robust information technology was designed by Louis Schluter in 1967, and here we're looking at an excerpt from his book entitled Virtual Report Processing. It states, applications can begin at any level and evolve to meet all requirements. With modern interfaces to over 150 interactive information processing power tools, plus many options with real-time execution without programming. Used on a shared electronic filing cabinet report database with full database security, performance, and application monitoring tools. The potential for computer productivity with virtual report processing is truly unlimited. This is truly a most amazing system, and really a very well kept secret in the industry, because Unisys was not trying to promote software. They only were concerned about how many boxes of hardware they sold at the end of the day. So with Mapper, you first learn to walk and then run, which can both occur in only a few short weeks. You have more time for family and fun because you're getting things done with less headaches and sooner. Create your turnkey business so you can walk away, take control of your data and your life. The all-in-one system that enables this is called Mapper Biz. Here's a sample of a run script. We walked through some very similar steps: search, sort, and totalize. We are looking at cabinet, drawer, report, any options. Like here is an option that omits the detail so that we only saw the eyes and the gauze result. Here's your eyes and gauze that are being looked for in character decision 42 for 4. You can also name your field. So in here it would simply say CAT for category. And anyways, this becomes a language that is very much like what the user is already accustomed to in executing the power tools. So many users become programmers in this language. Information Technology Solutions is a broad range of what this system accomplishes, with its virtual report processing power tools to user-designed computing, advanced application development. Enterprise-level business systems have been created. Even mission-critical business logic has been sustained. Complete system integration has been accomplished with zero latency, also accompanying the internet with commerce-enabled applications through web browsers. Here's a peek at a sample application. This is exactly how it would look a web browser. I could point on products here and click it, and it would bring up a list of the products. I could choose to analyze any one of the products and drill down, which would bring up this selection here where I can analyze these in an array of different ways that have been predefined. These are all assembled through a Rapid Application Development Studio. This integrated development environment makes application design and implementation much easier. So complete business systems can be assembled in little to no time in comparison to conventional programming. In Mapper, 3 programmers with 4 months working maybe at, say, $50 an hour can complete a system like this BMS system we're looking at here, whereby in conventional programming it would have taken 10 programmers 1.5 years and $5 million to complete the same thing. Mapper is so amazing with so many fans and following, even though it's a best kept secret. The inventor of Mapper said there are only two kinds of people: those that love Mapper and those that don't know enough about it.